We are in a race to try to save this country if it's not already too late. In my opinion, I think the writing's on the wall. I think we are in the beginning stages of empire collapse. It wasn't by accident. It's not going to be because of bad luck or whatever sickness plagues the world next. It's because of our own ignorance. A lot of these problems can be traced back to when many women were brainwashed into thinking that they were men. I believe we're actually going to see the aliens, but they're not aliens, Sean Kelly. They're demons.
All right, guys, my good friend back on the show. I think it's his 5th time now.
Sean Kelly in the building. And every time I see you, the world keeps getting crazier and crazier and scarier and scarier. And here we are, brother.
Here we are.
Still Trump's second term. A lot of promises not kept. A lot of evil shit happening. A lot of chaos. We're in a race against time, Sean Kelly. Right now, we're in the middle of what's called the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening, there was a lot of us that were awake long before the shutdowns of 2019. But in my opinion, that was the climax of the Great Awakening. If you haven't woken up since 2019 with everything that's happened, with all the shutting down of the world and all the games that were played, and we still have no justice for the family that we lost during that time, for people that put things into their bodies that weren't really well researched, at least from the public's view. And a lot of people have been injured and are struggling. I can't tell you how many people I've met since 2019, brother. I exaggerate not. So if you weren't awake, there's still a chance for you, but we're running out of time. What we are in is a race against time, against the threat of AI. So as more and more people are waking up and realizing that the world is not what we've been told, it's not run the way it's run, there's too much influence from outside sources and third parties and NGOs and lobbies, and really our vote doesn't do much for us. We are in a race to try to save this country if it's not already too late. In my opinion, I think the writing's on the wall. I think we are in the beginning stages of empire collapse. It wasn't by accident. It's not going to be because of bad luck or whatever sickness plagues the world next. It's because of our own ignorance, our own willing to listen to other opinions, our own love of allowing voices that even we don't agree with to be silenced. Free speech and having these types of discussions is the most important thing, not only to America, but to the world.
Yeah.
And we saw that those types of discussions weren't even allowed during the lockdowns, and social media platforms silenced people. And yeah, X opened up, but it seems to be very rigged, especially when it comes towards certain world faiths, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But what I want the audience to understand is that if enough people don't wake up soon, before these elitists, these globalists, these oligarchs that all work together around the world, who in my opinion worship no one else but Satan himself, if we don't wake enough people up in time, when they're done building their Starlink satellite network over the skies, and we've all seen the robots that are coming out, we've all seen the Waymos that are from LA to Austin to...
They're here now.
Okay, they're in Vegas too. And some would say, well, that's great, but why is that a threat? Because that's someone's income. That's a limit of your free ability to travel, in the sense that I believe all cars will be automated eventually. I truly believe that. I mean, Teslas basically are, but I think as technology, because tyrants have always fallen because the people that were supporting that regime or system complied until their lives became more miserable than death, and then they would rebel. That's how most dictators have fallen, right? Throughout the communist countries, totalitarian countries. However, if they're able to implement their AI, their surveillance, their robots, we've all seen what the robots can do with Boston Dynamics. You have them patrolling right now in Dallas for some soccer stuff.
Wow.
They look like dogs with cameras. If they're able to implement this Skynet, is what we'll call it, right? Referencing Terminator, the movie. It's not going to matter if humanity wakes up because robots don't have human emotion. Robots only follow orders. And it'll be a lot harder to overthrow that type of system when you're being chased down by a robot that doesn't get tired, that has one order, literally a Terminator. We can't rule that out unless we're being very ignorant to what can be done. And it's very simple to switch out parts and pieces for robots that can be used for good and very quickly turn them into evil. Yeah. I believe right now we're being desensitized with all this technology. in the Dallas area, for example, there's drones flying over people's houses every 2 seconds. I believe it's Walmart delivering candy, Kit Kat. All you got to do is put a camera on there. Now you're surveilling from the sky. So it's already here. It's on our doorstep. Orwell's worst nightmare is being built as we are distracted by Islamophobia, war, sports, the Kardashians, who they fucked down, didn't fuck, stuff like that, okay? People are more worried about that. The Knicks making it to the finals, which was a miracle, even though I really don't trust sports anymore. After all the scandals that have been revealed and how much they rig these things, and I think the gambling world rules over there. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any authenticity left in sports, in my opinion. I think if the bag's big enough, anyone will do anything, because most people sell their asses for a lot less.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what I did here.
Twist it on, it's loose.
So, the threat of AI is real, but then the other threat is the amount of water consumption that these data centers use, and the fact that the public has no say in this. And from what I'm understanding, the water doesn't even replenish when it goes through these data centers.
Because it's too dirty, right?
From what I'm understanding, or evaporate. I'm not sure exactly. Again, I'm not an expert on it. All I know is they take a lot of land and they use a lot of water. Mm-hmm. Very scary. Because water is already scarce in many parts of the world. India struggles with that. And for me, it's just another reminder of the systems and the network that they're building to, in my opinion, put humanity down once and for all to never be able to rise up ever again. Mm. And that's why it's beneficial to these powers to make people hate each other on any difference, gay, straight, black, white, Muslim, Christian, whatever it is, and fuel that division so people don't focus as they're building the digital prison over our heads. Mm. And I'm still against crypto with everything in me, and I will be to the day I die. And this will age well, Sean Kelly, I promise you.
You don't think
but I have it in a cold wallet, and it's not, what do you call it? What's the word they use? Unregulated and all that. It doesn't matter if it's regulated or not. It matters what you can actually spend it on. And the only reason any of these currencies had any traction was because certain companies said that they would use these currencies or accept these currencies. And all it takes is a government or a world government to make a certain currency illegal to be accepted by corporations. And what happens to the value of that coin?
Skyrockets.
No, it goes down. If you can't use it, right? But if they say we're going to accept this one, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they can set prices to any amount of that coin if they want, right? So to think that we have as much control as we do, we don't. We have a control to pay attention to this, to not use these types of things. I'm not sitting here advocating for cash, but if I give you $100, nobody knows about it, right?
Yeah.
So you put it into your account or whatever. So freedoms are being encroached in every direction, whether financial, health-wise, let's not even get into that. From the air that we breathe to the skies every day. It shocks me that people can't just look up at the sky. Literally, I promise you, if any person in the world just pays attention to the sky for 1 week, for 30 minutes a day, just looks up and watches, they'll start to notice a pattern. They'll look at their weather, crystal clear day. It'll start out like that too, no clouds forecasted, and then you'll see the planes going back and forth, back and forth. They're not contrails. And all of a sudden there's a haze over the sky. In my opinion, they're lying to pilots, or they're stupid enough to go along with it, believing that they are combating global warming under what are commonly known as chemtrails. Mm-hmm. And I believe the reason a lot of us feel like off, we felt off for the last 10, 15 years, like something's off. I believe there's certain, important things in sunlight that make human beings vibrate higher. So even though we can still see sunlight, it's a different tint. It's reflecting particles, in my opinion. They've done studies on this, aluminum and all this other stuff that's in there, barium. And I believe that's what's making human beings feel very depressed and full of anxiety.
Wow.
And when you're full of depression and anxiety, it's a lot harder to stand up and fight for things that are important. I think it plays into what's going on. From our food, even Driscoll strawberries, organic strawberries. Studies came out, toxic. Mm-hmm. From what I was seeing online, allegedly, right?
Yeah.
So it's imagine the human being under attack from land, air, and sea. And then what we consume. We're in a really bad time right now, and we have to pull it together. Anyone that's bringing division to humanity, whether it be a Christian, Muslim, Jew, whatever they are, Hindu, Buddhist, anyone that is stuck on these differences is an enemy of the Great Awakening. There is no reason for the world to be the way it is. I am someone that's lost family in war. I walked out of the World Trade Center. I don't hate any entire group of people. I never have, I never will. And anyone that speaks like that, people like Laura Loomer, people like Congressman Randy Fine, who Dan Bilzerian's running against, who says all Muslims should be taken out, all their mosques should be wiped out. If I turned around and said that about his religion, I'd be in prison. I'd be in jail or deplatformed at the minimum or restricted in travel or debanked. And then people want to talk about being fair and being equal. It's mind-boggling to me, the world that we're living in. Yeah, we have the same problems because politicians don't have term limits. They're allowed to accept funding from lobbies. That's why Massey lost his election. We talk about free elections. We have free and fair elections. Well, if they're free elections, Sean Kelly, then why does someone need hundreds of millions to even billions of dollars to win? How is that a free election? It's not. It means the majority of people, we could have probably the best leader in the world, but it's someone that doesn't even have nearly enough cash to even have a chance to run for the office of president. So me and you are not equal. Me and you are not equal to the elites of this society. They are oligarchs. They go into Congress with a couple $100,000. They come out with multi-millions of dollars after 20, 30 years. How do we live in an equal society? We don't. And the people are starting to recognize it.
Yeah. It's scary, man. When Thomas Massey lost, it was all because of money.
All because of money.
He would have won if they spent the same amount.
It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that we should run elections like American Idol. Every state, they have you show up on that day, everyone goes up one by one. You have a bunch of liberals and conservatives, equal amount, and then they vote who goes to the next round. And everyone in the country gets to see them speak and then call in.
That'd be cool.
That would be a real democracy in the real world, in real time, but that'll never happen.
We don't have democracy.
No, we don't.
You think we ever did?
No.
Damn.
I think we have corporate feudalism. I think we had, listen, it depends who you are. If you ask an African American, when did they ever get treated equally? Let's be real. Right? They came here on boats, enslaved. A lot of them were Muslim originally, by the way.
Oh, really?
That's the funny, like when you have people say Muslims don't belong here. Well, you brought them on boats. They picked your cotton for free for a long time, bro. They've been here since day one. The first Muslim country to recognize America was Morocco, provided them with a much-needed base as a newborn nation.
Wow.
This perception of Islam as the enemy of the U.S. and its way of life, and that America's a Christian nation, well, I don't see much Christianity being practiced out there. I, as a Muslim, have no problem living in a Christian nation. I want America to be a Christian nation. I want America to follow the Bible and the Ten Commandments and all the rules and regulations of their faith, because Islam is not much different than that. So when I start to see it, I don't see it. But I, just for the record, have no problem living in a Christian majority nation that follows the actual teachings of the Bible. I don't see it anywhere, Sean Kelly. I don't see it anywhere. And on the contrary, I see people attacking Muslims for the very ideals that they should have within their own faith. To be modest, to have morals, to be conservative when it comes to family values, to marrying man between women and having children, to protect the life, except if there's cases of incest and all that stuff. These are not different than Christian ideals, yet the media will have you believe differently. And the oxymoron of the term, the contradiction of the term Judeo-Christian. They try to push this out like Judeo-Christian is something that has really existed. No, it hasn't. The Judeo-Christianity has been the Christians persecuting the Jews throughout history, kicking them out of their countries, massacring them, the Inquisition, the Holocaust, all done by Christian nations. It doesn't mean that they were following Christianity, so I want to clarify that. However, they want to make it seem like it's Muslims who hate Christians and Jews, and especially right now it seems to be coming more from the Jewish media than anybody else. And I ask your audience to do one simple Google search. Go and type in Omar al-Khattab, O-M-A-R al-K-H-A-T-A-B. Read about his life. When he took over Jerusalem, there were no Jews there. They were pushed out by the Romans and the Byzantines for 500 years. They weren't allowed to step foot into Jerusalem. Okay. And only 5 years after the Prophet Muhammad's life, peace and blessings be upon him, the second king of the Muslims said, how come there are no Jews in Jerusalem? Bring me 80 families now to resettle them. So if it's in Islam's doctrine to hate Jews, why would they resettle them from its inception? Can anyone explain that to me?
That's nuts.
Why did they leave Andalusia, which was heaven on earth for those that lived there? The only time in that period of European history where Christians, Muslims, and Jews lived in peace and had a golden age and helped pull Europe out of the darkness. Study the history of ancient Andalusia. These are things they didn't teach us in America. They always said the Moors conquered Spain. The Moors conquered Spain. No, it was the Goth kingdom. Half the kingdom didn't recognize the sovereignty of the other half. They were having a civil war, and the other half sided and said, can you guys come over and help us take over and run the place for us? And that's exactly what happened. And if Islam was spread by the sword, then why are the Spanish still Catholic today? And if we actually are fair to history, wherever the quote-unquote Christian nations went, most of those people never kept their religion, their language, even their names. That sounds like spreading it by the sword. Let's look at our own country. We're the Native Americans. What about South America? What about Mexico? What about all these other Latin-based nations where the Tainos were massacred by the conquistadores, by the colonizers of Europe? But they want to tell you that Islam was spread by the sword. This is a fallacy. This is a lie of modern history. So they can create dehumanization of the soon-to-be the world's largest faith so they can continue to justify their wars. And again, I don't group all Christians in here.
Yeah.
And I don't blame modern Christianity or modern Christians for what happened, no more than I would blame a terrorist for their actions that Islam does not teach them to do. But when it comes to being fair, Brother Sean, they won't be fair with the other half of the world. 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, San Diego, you had two kids going and try to perpetrate a mass shooting. You heard about that in the mosque. Poor security guard, an African-American man who became Muslim. He wasn't born Muslim. He became Muslim. A black American security guard, always a smile on his face, stood between 100 school children in San Diego Islamic Center, 100 school children, and two mass shooters. They had Christian manifestos, they had cross, all that stuff. They never once in the news called them a Christian terrorist. I also agree they weren't Christian, but they seem to have thought that's what they were doing for Christianity. Now, if we were judging it based on a so-called Muslim, the news wouldn't have hesitated at all to call him a Muslim terrorist. Right. The same way the media never not one time in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, or Donald Trump, called all the migrants that were coming over the open border, which I don't agree with open borders. Not once did they say Latino migrants or Catholic migrants, but in Europe, Muslim migrants. Do you see the hypocrisy?
Yeah.
The reporting's not the same. So most of the policies that have led to this influx of migrants in Europe are being protested by the very hypocrites that won't call out their own people for it. The people like Tommy Robinson, the biggest hypocrite there is. He blocked me on X, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I've challenged him to a debate anywhere you want in the U.S., Tommy Robinson. I would debate you in a McDonald's parking lot, but you won't come. He won't talk about the policies of his own nation, both throughout history that colonized half the world brutally, created most of the borders that have created much of the chaos that we're still dealing with to this day, especially when it comes to the Middle East, his own people. He won't talk about the millions of Asians that were wiped out under the brutal oppression of the British Empire. He won't talk about Tony Blair, who went and destabilized Iraq, which led to the rest of the Arab Spring, which led to all this destabilization we've seen in the Middle East over the last 25 years, which helped create more terrorists and extremists that I condemn as a Muslim, publicly. But he'll start to victimize the victim who lost their house, lost their family, and now washes up on the shores of Europe, the same Europe that created their nightmare. This is what we call hypocrisy. This is what we call injustice, and this is what we call oppression.
I don't think he's alive in America, bro.
No, he is.
He is?
I want Britain to be British. I don't believe in open borders. But you wanting sovereignty over your borders, you should reciprocate that same respect to the nations that your leaders participated in destabilizing. That's hypocrisy. I don't want anyone in my country, and I'm not saying they should be, but you at the same time turn that person. The majority of people that are refugees in the world today are from those nations. You made them refugees. You turned them into refugees. And if we really want to go further, a lot of their leaders that were so bad and evil were placed into power by those very same nations. How do you think they got control? the British Empire, the French. They allowed those leaders to be in, just like our CIA overthrew the overthrew the Iranian government in a coup d'etat, which led to the regime today that we hate so much and we want to go to war with. This has been declassified. You could pull it up if you want. We did a coup d'etat in Iran. It didn't go our way, and it led to the Islamic Republic, the regime that we're supposedly now supposed to send our sons and daughters to fight and die for. But there are 1 million Persians that live in America, and if they feel that valiantly about their homeland, they should go back and liberate it themselves. Enough Americans have died. Enough innocent civilians have died in these conflicts. Trillions of dollars have been spent in the destruction of civilization in the world, and none of it has been spent on America first, or making America great again, or the reconstruction of our fleeting infrastructure, which is light years behind places like China.
China's killing us.
And Dubai. It's embarrassing. Most of our airports look like bus stops, bus terminals, compared to their airports. And that's just one example. New York City, $30 to pay a toll just to get into Manhattan. Pothole after pothole. I had to change my tires twice last year.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, within a week.
Jeez.
It's when I pulled the trigger. I said, I'm going to Texas. I had enough. $30 just to get in. $50, $60 to park. You haven't even ate yet, brother.
Jeez.
So how people are sustaining, I don't know. It's almost as if they're turning Manhattan into like Hunger Games, where only the rich will be able to get in and use it and stay and live. And the demographics are shifting there, and it is not the New York I loved my entire life. I lived in my entire life. I don't recognize my own city anymore.
Wow.
None of this is by chance. All of it's by design. And as we fight each other over nonsense, Sean Kelly, distractions, most Americans know more about the score in yesterday's basketball game than the growing threat that is coming to all of our lives.
Yep. NBA just broke records for
Okay.
viewership.
Last time I watched sports is when the Knicks were in the finals. That's how,
That's the 90s, right?
And Patrick Ewing missed that damn layup.
Yeah, the 90s.
Fucking layup. It was right there. Like,
You still have memories from
I still have his sneakers, though, and 33 is a great number, and I used to rock that number.
I love 30.
But I stopped watching sports back then as a young man, and I also think people are too obsessed with sports. You'll never be a player in life if you're too busy being a fan.
I agree.
Or a spectator. Use that same energy and passion and attention to your own life, into side hustles. I didn't know how to podcast 7 years ago. I didn't know a damn thing about it. Here I am now on some of the biggest shows in the world, making amazing things happen, meeting people I never thought I'd even meet, or let alone that they would want to follow me. So you can do anything as long as you still have time and health, but where are you spending your energy is what I would say to most people. So for me, it's not just about, like, I'm not picking on sports people, but if that's your whole life and that's all you spend your energy on, and a lot of times because they're gambling on it, it's not actually because they gamble on the game. It's sad that that's the only thing that brings you any type of satisfaction to your life. But I would ask you, what have you done to make anybody's life better? How about your town that you live in, the state that you live in? And until you worry about where you live and your fellow American, we're all going down on this ship together, my friend. We're running out of time.
Anything Trump can do to earn your respect back at this point?
No.
Nothing?
No, he's
If
finished.
he ends the war?
He's cooked.
Really?
Done. He ain't going to end the war. He's not going to end nothing. We're just seeing the first chapter of that conflict.
Holy crap. You think it's going to
Okay?
go on?
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
good.
His masters are going to make sure that it happens.
You think he was controlled in the first term?
I think he wasn't as much, and I think now he must have worked out an agreement with the people that are very powerful and have money, because they're not attacking him as much, if you've noticed. I mean, do you think
Media
they're...
doesn't, yeah.
Not at all.
Well, he sued him.
Yeah. But not even close to the way they used to.
Yeah.
To me, it's amazing how MTG resigned, Massey, this one, what's her name?
Tulsi.
That one. I'm fried today, bro. Tulsi.
Yeah, Tulsi
So it's
Gabbard,
like people
Massey.
that, and then he turns on the same influencers and content creators that had his back.
Yeah, Alex Jones.
very hard times.
Tucker, Candace, and Megyn Kelly.
Just to name a few, Tucker, right? So, but Tucker, he's really changed his views a lot since, he used to bash Islam all the time.
Really?
Oh, when he was with the mainstream, he had no choice.
Oh, wow.
He had to sit there and read. My message is real simple to the world. Muslims and Christians are not enemies. Even Jews are not our enemies.
Really?
Okay?
Wow, that's a hot take.
There are extremists in every faith. There are extremists in every group. Sports fans kill each other, Sean Kelly, over a stupid game. I saw people fighting at a UFC fight that I got dragged to last month, the Chimov fight or whatever. I was
in New
there.
York, right?
There were fists. So there's extremists in every single group. There's women out there that to me are, I call them feminazis, okay? They're extremists with their views. They want to completely emasculate men and try to make it sound like we're both the same. We're exactly the same. No, we're not. Because no matter how hard I try, I'll never carry a baby in my womb. I don't even have a fucking womb, okay? And no matter how hard they try, they're not going to have a pichadel hanging between their legs. Men and women are equal in the eyes of God. They have the same rights, the same reward and punishment for the way they live their lives. That's how they're equal to the Creator. Yep. But they have different roles and responsibilities to society.
Right.
A lot of these problems can be traced back to when many women were brainwashed into thinking that they were men. I'm not against women working. I'm not against them voting or any of that stuff. But you lose me when you try to... You'll never see a nation invade another nation with an all-female battalion. Okay? Do you think they could win?
No.
And if they were against an entire battalion of men, do you think they would win?
No, not even close.
If it was swords or even guns, do you think they would just...
No.
Maybe if they had some advanced tech. But if we're talking just biologically, it would be over.
Shot.
It'd be over in 15 minutes.
No woman's ever been a
But I bet you 10 guys could probably take out 100 of them. Okay?
Probably.
So these differences are very... No matter what I do, I'll never have breast milk. Right? So we are equal to God, but we are different. Different roles. And it's because most of us are out of order spiritually to the one that created us, the one that gave us manuals like the Old Testament, the Gospel, the Psalms of David, and what I believe to be the final testament of God, the Holy Quran. This is how a human being lives the best version of their life. This is how society has morals, checks and balances, and people are treated with dignity. We have degenerated, just like the empires before us, and our time is running out. God allowed us to see the evil that goes on behind the curtain with the Epstein files. And the fact that we have had no justice, spiritually this country is running out of time. God never destroys a nation until they can see the evil and they don't stop it. We have no justice for Epstein, nothing for what happened in 2019 when they shut down the world. Jobs are disappearing everywhere to the threat of AI. The average American's poorer and getting poorer by the minute. The American dream has evaporated. Housing prices are through the roof. National debt is at, there's never been ever a time in history that nations had this kind of debt. It's just a matter of time, brother.
Yeah.
Sounds like they need a massive world war to try to sweep this all up, is what it sounds like.
World War III.
I think we're already in it. I think they're going to skip to 4. I think we're in 5th generational warfare. Piece by piece, country here, color revolutions, propaganda, this type of... But I think when it hits the hot point, I think we're going to see things that even World War I and World War II didn't see.
Oh, my God.
The type of loss of life that we could see if we don't stick together, if we don't call out extremists in all of our groups, whether they be Muslim, Christian, or Jewish, or Hindu, or whatever. Extremism is the enemy. Extremism. Entire groups of people. Right? Yeah. Anyone talking like that is an enemy of humanity.
So when it comes to Fuentes and his movement, extreme?
Fuentes is, to me, is a funny dude, bro. It's like funny dude. I just hope one day I get to see him sit next to a woman. But, yeah. I don't know him personally. I've never met him. There's some things he talks about I agree with. There's some things he talks about that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
I don't think he was very loyal to his friend Sneeko at all. At all. I watched the clip that made him so angry. Sneeko wasn't even putting him down, bro. He was just, there was basically like a hypothetical question, like who could unite the left and the right? And Sneeko was just giving his opinion on odds. That, yeah. Let's be real. No one on the left would ever follow Nick. They wouldn't. I don't think they would never. They consider you as far right as it comes. Yeah. You got to try to find someone that's on the right, more towards the middle. So that's what set him off and turns his back on his friend who, from what I understand, and again, I'm not saying I'm an expert on their relationship, but from what I understand, Sneeko had his back a lot of the times when he was being censored and shut down, and no one would, and he stood by the guy.
Yeah,
bro.
They got a lot of history.
So,
and
I think that's all you need to know about Nick Fuentes. Really, if you just analyze that situation, it is what it is.
Well, he was beefing with Dan Bilzerian right before that too.
Yeah,
that was bad.
So to me, it's just this is not the time to create division. I'm not left or right. I'm just right.
Yeah.
I don't see a way to vote out of any of this. I think the people have to unite and demand reform, serious reform. And there's no way out of this without extreme pain, Sean Kelly, whether it be financial or, God forbid, anything else. Hopefully all of this can be done peacefully. Hopefully we can wake up and realize that whatever is going on is not working. It's not helping the American people, and we need serious reform immediately. A complete overhaul of the whole system.
If Vance wins in 28, you think you'll leave the country?
Do I think I'll leave the country?
Yeah.
If Vance wins, I probably won't even be left alive.
Jesus. Is that bad, dude?
Listen, brother.
Bro, that's crazy.
We're going to go down anyway. Might as well go down speaking the truth.
I feel that.
There's a lot of cowards in this world, bro.
It's a survival thing, right?
You know, I have family that survived one of the worst communist regimes ever. I have a great-grandfather that did 28 years in a gulag-type prison just for being a high school teacher, bro.
Wow.
I have cousins that were put into internment camps under Enver Hoxha, the dictator, okay? And they were eating bread harder than this table, dude, soaking it in water just to digest. They worked whatever they were told to work, and no one could eat. They were scared to speak in their own houses, and none of this technology even existed, Sean Kelly. Imagine referring earlier to this episode, what happens when they complete this technocracy, because that's what's coming, bro. A totalitarian technocracy. That's what we're up against. That's what's coming.
Where everything's monitored.
I feel like because how much is coming out, and the same tools that they used to enslave us are now being used against them, right? With podcast, speaking, people. It's not going to last much longer, brother. We don't have a long window to try to correct this and to protect free speech. Okay, free speech is the tip of the spear. It's everything. So there needs to be an amendment to the Bill of Rights, but you'll never get it in that Congress or that Senate, ever.
You think free speech still exists right now?
Barely. And it comes, as Bassem Youssef would say, it comes with a table of terms and conditions. We have free speech with terms and conditions. Right. You start talking about things that get real, your life gets very hard, very quickly. It gets very scary. So I would ask my fellow American, what the hell are we going to do about it? The first thing we should do is not fight. We should focus on really what's the problem, and we should demand reform in this nation. This nation needs reform, and it needs it quickly.
Yeah.
I already think we're past the tipping point. But
damn.
We don't deserve to be saved, Sean.
Wow.
We don't deserve it the way we're going. What we've allowed to creep into this nation, and I speak as someone that's spiritual. I remember the societies of Sodom and Gomorrah, Pompeii, and all these empires that came before, and how filthy they became, a lot of them, once they became powerful, and the corruption and the debauchery that went down in a lot of these ancient civilizations. We're following to a T.
History. Repeats itself, right?
It really does, though.
Damn.
It really does. And another thing it'll repeat is more people are going to wish they did something when they had the chance than waiting to see what happens next.
Not us.
Sean?
We could sleep at night at least. We did everything.
I'll sleep at night. I can look my child in the eyes when he says, Daddy, how come I can't afford food? Dad, where's the food, Dad? Daddy, the car won't start. We don't have enough social credits. Sorry, son. I tried, son. I'll probably be dead anyway, but it's all right.
Crazy. Nah, you'll live a long life.
I don't fear anything but God, bro.
You don't fear death?
Think about it. You could fear it. It's going to happen no matter what, Sean Kelly. No matter what I do. I could work out all day. I've buried plenty of people that work out. All day they work out, never smoked a cigarette, lung cancer. When your time comes, it comes. The question is, in that split second when you're going into the next life and you have that flash of what you did, will you be proud of the life you lived? Right. Will you have said to yourself, I stood up for those that couldn't stand up for themselves. I spoke the truth even at my own detriment. That means to me you're a patriot. That means to me you're someone that believes in the higher power. That means to me you understood and graduated from this test called life. Sometimes to sit here and say I don't have fear of what could happen, I'd be lying to you. But I draw strength from my ancestors, my great-great-grandfather who stood in the mountains of Albania and led a force against those that were oppressing our people. Yeah. I draw strength from my family that lost their lives in Kosovo because they wanted the right to have free speech. I speak for their honor to have the rights that so many of my fellow Americans take for granted, bro. Completely take for granted. It's disgusting, man. Our veterans, our military that are used like pawns, they deserve better, man. I don't want to say, I saw Hegseth talking to those young kids the other day. And he says, not me going there, it's going to be you guys. And these kids look like they're 17, 18 years old, bro.
Yikes.
People that are calling for this war, send Barron Trump in, dude. Send Barron in. Okay, he's too tall. He can't be on the front line. Make him a cook. Send his ass there, too. All these Congress people, they never send their kids, bro.
Yeah.
But I should send my sons to go die for a war that doesn't benefit me or America. There's too many innocent people dying, bro. And it's just everywhere. It's like, it's just one, another, this starts, that starts. It's not looking good, Sean Kelly. You know? What kind of world are we leaving for our children if we don't act?
We've been in war my whole life.
Mine too. I saw that meme where they were talking about, you know, like what my generation's seen. I was like, damn, we really did go through a lot, right? First, the technological revolution, right? We saw the internet come to life, then how far it went. I remember the world before the internet. Then you had the first Gulf War. Then you had, you know, 9/11, right? Then you had the Great Recession. Then you had all those wars that happened, right, in the Middle East. Then we had a shutdown, right? 2019, COVID. And now we have all these other conflicts. So it's just wild what we've seen.
Yeah, you've seen a lot. Damn. Yeah, 9/11.
I personally also was in the World Trade, right? And then I lost family in the Kosovo conflict. So I've seen a lot of shit in my life, man. A lot.
It's a lot of trauma, bro.
So I speak out because I know what it's like to get a phone call and find out you lost people that you love, that they were killed in a war. And I don't want any American to go through that. I don't want any human being on earth to have to go through that if it's totally avoidable. And it is, because it's not the general population of these countries that are evil. It's the leaders.
Right.
It's the people that don't think that they're going to see God one day, bro. I promise you they will, Sean Kelly. They think they're kings and they're presidents and they're prime ministers, but they're going to meet the prime minister of the universe, my friend. And they're going to answer to that creator, not only for the lives that they destroyed, but even for the trees they cut down. A tree has rights to the creator. Cattle has rights. Animals have rights. So do human beings. They will answer one day for their crimes, bro. I don't look forward to the day of judgment, but I do look forward to seeing some of their faces on that day when all those that lost their lives because of their policies will stand one by one and testify against them in front of that cosmic court one day. I truly believe that day will come.
You think they're like demonically possessed or something?
I think a lot of the rulers and the powerful people do worship Satan in many different manifestations. I truly believe there's an agenda to convince humanity we were created by aliens and not by God himself. I truly believe this plays into what I believe was really pushed and propelled by Aleister Crowley, a very important person for people to study his life and understand who that man was and who was connected to that man, whether it be L. Ron Hubbard, whether it be Jack Parsons, which is why satellites are in space today. Jack Parsons is the father of modern rocketry. He was a disciple of Aleister Crowley who was into the black magic. This is a fact.
Wow.
I'm not making this up. You can Google it. And they would do rituals and sex magic and all these different things. And through those, through those rituals, Jack Parsons says in his own words that he was contacted by a being called Belial Dajjal who inspired him to make rocket fuel.
Holy crap.
Okay, and the word Dajjal in the Arabic language actually is the word used for the false Messiah, the Antichrist. You can't make this up, Sean Kelly. And then he was connected to a lot of other people. So L. Ron Hubbard and those types are part of what we call the New Age, right? And there's a lot of that going on. You've had some of the guests on your show, Billy Carlson and this one and that one, the Anunnaki. It's all bullshit. It's rubbish. It's talking, they're describing the demonic realm. This is an interdimensional battle, 100%. Interdimensional. If you believe in the God of Abraham, Satan and his forces, okay? They were on Earth before us. Many of the ancient civilizations, the reason their hieroglyphics are all the same is because the devil and his species use the same trick. Their only objective is to lead as many people away from the Creator. So they would attack these ancient civilizations, the Mayans, the Egyptians, and you would find similarities in their gods because the greatest disrespect to the Creator is to make the creation that you chose over theirs to worship you instead of God. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled wasn't to convince the world he doesn't exist, was to convince the elites that he's an alien. If you pull up the picture of Lam, who Aleister Crowley drew with his own hands, Lam looks exactly like a gray alien. When he did these rituals, he said that this being contacted him. There is an agenda. I believe they have figured out a way scientifically to open a portal to allow that dimension into our dimension.
Wow.
And that they will tell humanity, we've cured death. Look, there are creators. They came to save us, but they're nothing more than shape-shifting demonic forces. People call them reptilians, Anunnaki, all these different names. Crazy. They are demons aligned with Satan. One of my theories is that God locked the demonic realm into a different dimension when Adam was cast down. God knows best, and all glory belongs to him. In my opinion, that's how maybe some of these structures were built. We know about this because of the prophet Solomon, which is why the occult is obsessed with Solomon. Every prophet had power. Moses parted the Red Sea by God's permission with the rod. Jesus brought people back from the dead with God's permission. Solomon had the power over both dominions, the dominion of darkness and light, which is why they do their rituals on checkered boards. It's the crossing of dimensions. That's their goal. That's their objective. I think they're actually going to make it happen. We're going to see aliens. This is not some conspiracy where it's going to be Project Bluebeam, in my humble opinion, and I've been following this for a very long time. I believe we're actually going to see the aliens, but they're not aliens, Sean Kelly. They're demons. And they can shapeshift. We know this because of the story of Cain in the Bible, the Old Testament, the Quran. We know that Cain went amongst the children, that the devil, Satan, a'udhu billah, he went amongst the children of Cain and shapeshifted into a man to teach them how to make music. So there's your shapeshifter. We know that the demons have the power to make you think your thoughts are yours, but it's really their thoughts. Look at some of the mass murders. Look at Son of Sam, and the dog, and right? Son of Sam, what's the other one? Ted Kaczynski, all the one guy, what was it? Ted Bundy or whatever?
Bundy, yeah.
The dog was telling him, okay? That might very well have been true. The demonic realm loved to take the shape of black dogs and black cats. They also liked the shapes of lizards and snakes. And we know this from the Islamic perspective.
Wow.
So I know this sounds crazy to people, but start your studies with Aleister Crowley, and then you'll start to see that I'm not so crazy. And that a lot of these people, it's not even about being Jewish, Muslim, or Christian. They wear the cloak of being of those faiths. Their allegiance is to the demonic realm. They worship Satan. They do rituals. I believe that's what the island was all about, showing loyalty to the demonic realm so they can gain knowledge that the rest of humanity doesn't have. It's not alien tech, demonic tech. Jack Parsons is the greatest proof of that. Literally tells you how he got inspired to create the fuel. It was done through black magic. You cannot be a Christian, Muslim, or Jew and not believe that black magic is real. We learned about black magic from the time of Moses when he threw his rod to devour the magician's rods of Pharaoh. So, black magic's real. The evil eye is real. Doing rituals and sacrifices to the demonic realm, they require you, the evil ones amongst them, to defile anything that is pure and sacred, to show allegiance to that realm. And for that allegiance, they give you power, they give you knowledge, they give you this worldly life. That's what's going on, Sean Kelly.
Have you had any personal experiences with black magic or demonic
I've
encounters?
had personal experiences with people who have done certain things, and they were being terrorized with nightmares. One of them is an actress. I won't say what film she was in. She did an ayahuasca trip.
Yeah.
Okay, and for 6 months straight, every night she had the most horrific nightmares. And so she heard me giving a lecture about this matter on Clubhouse. She reached out to me through DMs. I told her how to make holy water and cleanse herself.
Yeah.
The next day, she said she never slept better in her life.
No way.
There's a reason they have shaman there. If it wasn't tapping into things that are dangerous for your soul, why do you need a shaman there for? To guide you through it. Because depending what creature comes through, right, they have elves. And they all seem to see the same stuff. Yeah. I believe that ayahuasca takes something off the eyes and allows you to see that which you shouldn't see.
Aliens.
Demons. No aliens, Sean. We're the aliens. We were cast down from our Creator, last onto this earth. The demonic realm has always been here. The species of Satan, they're known as the jinn in the Islamic tradition. They are a species made of a smokeless flame. Some scholars think it could be an electrical current or plasma, but they have the ability to change forms. We also know from Tesla, the original Tesla, that everything is energy. So maybe because of the way they're created by God, they're able to do these things and match frequencies. I don't know exactly how they work, but we know they can travel faster than the speed of light. We know that they can teleport. We know they can transfer material. And we learned this from the prophet Solomon. That is why they have the obsession with Solomon. They want that power. They want that ability to work with that realm. Some of the conspiracy theorists believe that the Knights of Templar found documents and witchcraft books underneath the Temple Mount when they reconquered Jerusalem from the Muslims. So That's what legend has it. Legend has it. They found what was underneath those temples. That's where the whole inspiration came for the banking system and all this other stuff. That's what a lot of conspiracy theorists believe.
Do you believe that?
I think so.
Wow.
I don't know if they found books or manuscripts, but I think they definitely found something under there that they shouldn't have found.
I've heard that with the Vatican too. There's some stuff in that library.
Well, they've had access to things that for example, the Dead Sea Scrolls were held on to for decades instead of being released. I feel like the unredacted, Dead Sea Scrolls would probably unravel the entire belief system completely.
Holy crap.
Because I do believe the Prophet Muhammad's name has been mentioned in those scriptures.
Really?
And they conceal it, yeah.
No way.
Well, in my opinion, there's reference to him in John 15 and John 16 and other parts of the Old Testament. And, to me, knowledge is the most powerful thing.
Yeah.
If you can control the information people get, you can control their minds. If you can control their minds, you can control them. Mm-hmm. That's all it comes down to. So what are they going to do? They're going to feed your desires. That's what the demons want you to do. They want you to concentrate on eating, drinking, sucking, and fucking. That's what they want you to be like the animals. The animal only worries about eating, drinking, shitting, pissing, fucking, reproducing. That's it. They've turned us into cattle. Literally, we've become cattle. We have the intelligence and the capabilities to do amazing things, yet they have us degenerated to lower than animals, in my opinion, because animals don't possess the same intellect as human beings. So the fact that we even act like animals, we really literally act like animals, and obsessed just following our own desires, we are lower than beasts, lower than animals, bro. Animal doesn't have the ability that the human does to think and to reflect as deeply. It's actually it's pretty sad when you think about it, but what do they call us? Consumers. What do cattle do? They just consume.
Right.
They eat grass.
Yeah, we're sheep, we're cattle. Eating, sucking, drinking. Okay, I don't drink. Eating, I'm fasting.
You're good,
You said
bro.
sucking, I don't suck. And fucking, I can control.
It's Tony Montana style, bro. I mean, that was his line, right? Eating, drinking, sucking. Isn't that an Oliver Stone movie, bro?
Probably.
Scarface, no?
Yeah, people can't control the fucking part, dude.
I don't know how the hell I haven't been on Tucker yet, bro.
You got to get on there.
Dude, it's
you're
an
watching this,
important
Tucker, get on
important
there.
conversation between Christians and
Has
Muslims.
he had a Muslim on?
I think he's had, man, but I mean, who can tell it better, man? A Muslim man inside the World Trade Center, family murdered by Christians, doesn't hate Christians, loves America, believes in free speech, wants to end war, wants to bring people together.
Yeah, you're the perfect guest for him. He covered the 9/11 stuff.
You know?
He did a whole documentary on it.
Yeah, I saw it.
He did the chemtrails documentary.
To me, he's really come a long way, bro. Like a long way.
Yeah, you probably didn't like him for a while.
It wasn't that I didn't like him, but I was just like, why are you pushing this? Like, this is back then,
Yeah.
But he was working for corporate.
Yeah,
you
Fox
know?
News.
He had to take orders, bro. So the fact that he's evolved, and then when I saw him start saying like, I believe in the demon thing, I've been saying this for.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, somebody's awake right now.
You'll get on there one day.
Somebody's awake right now. Somebody's really starting to put the pieces together. I agree with them, and this is what spiritual people should be focusing on, because what if the technology that they figured out through AI, through CERN, very something we should all be paying attention to. What if they figured a way to create a wormhole between, because again, I'm speaking to people that believe in God, okay, and understand the demonic realm. What if they were able to create a portal, maybe through CERN or some other tech that we don't know about, that would allow the demonic dimension into ours, okay? If they keep their powers, the ability to shapeshift, the ability to travel at the speed of light. We know that they can fly in Islam. There's 3 types of demons, and they have different names, and they can even fly, bro.
Wow.
Okay? So what if they've created a wormhole that allows that dimension into this one, under the guise of aliens are coming, aliens really made us. These demons follow us from the day we're born. There's legions of them. They know you better than you know yourself, Sean. They know your habits, your routines, everything. They follow you. And the more of a threat you are to unlocking souls to the truth, the more they try to destroy you.
Holy crap.
Okay? They follow you. They know how you think. They know what's pissing you off. And through demonic telepathy, they'll keep hitting that one thing in your nerves, like, hey, your girl this, or you're like, whatever they know is bothering you, they keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. They try to get you, bro. But the only way to shield from that is through prayer. That's why Muslims wash. It's to protect from the demonic realm. They're made from a smokeless flame. The Muslim cleanses himself before he prays 5 times a day. It's a spiritual shield. I truly believe, and I want this, and I want people to remember this. If you ever see a day where they tell you that we were created by aliens and they figured out death, and you're seeing your great-grandmother who died, or your grandmother, or your dad that died 10 years ago, and it's your dad, and it sounds like your dad, just know that they have some of their thoughts. They followed them for years. They have longer lifespans than we do. They can mimic their voice, and they can look like them.
Yikes.
If that day ever comes, know that you are facing a demon. There are no aliens. We human beings are the ones that were cast down. If they've opened the wormhole, this is a real risk to humanity, and I'm sounding the alarm in the event that this is why they're releasing the files. This is why they're trying to precondition us, because I think it is an age of deception to make humanity worship the satanic forces of the universe. This war's been going on ever since the creation of Adam and Eve.
We are living in Black Mirror.
And in case you don't believe in Adam and Eve, just so you know, science has still said to this day, through DNA testing, we all have one common ancestor. You can't even rule it out, bro.
Wow. So
Did you know
that's
that?
in the Quran too, Adam and Eve?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Adam and Eve, the first two human beings. Adam and Hava is how you'd say it in Arabic. So there's much more that meets the eye in this world that we live in, and a lot of us are very blind to it, and the world shouldn't be this way, but it's because we are failing as a species. Humanity has fallen into the same traps, and there's only one way to defeat it: knowledge. Knowledge. That's why the devil was bowing to Adam, because God gave him knowledge that he didn't give him. He gave him the dominion of the earth, where the devil thought it was his, because the devil was righteous before he fell. But out of jealousy, he refused to obey God, out of pride and ego. So we live in a very interesting world. There's a lot more to it that meets the eye. Black magic is real. People worshiping these creatures, these demons, working with them, selling their souls. It's all real. You can see it throughout Hollywood. You can see it in film. You can see the agenda if you look close enough. This episode gives your audience the clues they need to go look for themselves, if they can get past their 20-second TikTok brains and actually go and read and look and investigate. Don't take Beck's word for it. Don't take anybody's word for anything. We live in a time of deception. Question everything. Trust no one. And read. Study. Look. Ask questions. Because this world is a lot crazier than we all thought, than even I thought.
Spit some bars today. This was my favorite episode together, brother. Where can people find you?
If I'm not taken out, becklover.com.
If you're not taken out.
But I might as well laugh about it, bro. BEKlover.com, or they can go to @BEKloverNYC on Instagram. And may God have mercy on all of our souls, and may God save America.
Be safe, brother. See you guys. If you learned anything from this episode or got any value at all, please share this episode with a friend. It helps us grow the channel, it helps us grow the podcast, and it means a lot to us. Thank you so much.